The biggest reason why new investors never seem to buy at the right time is because they're using this instead of this. The flashlight only shows us a small portion of the world, but the sun illuminates everything. You can't expect to make good decisions in crypto if you're only looking at the slither of information. So hand over the flashlight, because in this video, I'm going to give you the power to wield the sun. I'm going to show you how to get started using this system, even if you're a complete beginner and you've never wielded the power of the sun before. I'm going to give you the tools that you need to make the system as automated as possible, and I'll share my simple hack for adjusting the system to your own risk tolerance. But I know you're asking, how long will this all take me? I've got a life, you know, Lewis. But to answer that, first we need to understand what gets a system in motion. So we have a process that anyone can use, even if your house looks like this.
Hey, Nigel, wanna play?
I'm no playing darts, I told you that!
And that process is best explained by the way birds sing to you in the morning. Let me explain. Right as the sun starts coming up in the morning, birds start singing. Even if you were completely oblivious to the time of day outside, the birds would give it all away. And what's really important for a system like this is you need a system that triggers results in the same way that sunrise triggers birds to sing. Luckily for you, but ever so painfully for me, I've done the legwork and I've put together a 6-step system for this very instance. And once you know them, you'll be able to repeat the system anytime you want within a matter of seconds. You'll be able to time your buys like a pro, and you won't have to be plugged into the crypto market 24/7. Shall we? As it stands, Bitcoin runs the market. Whatever Bitcoin does, the rest of the market mirrors. So essentially, Bitcoin is the first bird in the flock. Wherever that bird goes, thousands follow. But there's something that 99% of beginners completely miss. When Bitcoin moves, the altcoins follow in a more exaggerated way. For example, a 1% move in Bitcoin could mean a 10%, even 100% move in the rest of the market. The good news is that it makes buy signals way more profitable when you know what to look for. But in order to get the system in motion, we need to first understand the difference between a disco and a lighthouse. Well, imagine you're out at sea and you're trying to find your way back to shore in the middle of the night. As you look forward, you see 2 lights. Both of them are flickering and both of them are bright. Which one is the lighthouse? Which one is the true signal of safety? The only way to answer that question with confidence is to pick up the sun that I told you were going to harness earlier and light it all up so you can see which one is the tall red and white one. So to find the right trigger to kick that whole system off, I had to turn the lights on and see crypto from a complete zoomed out bird's eye perspective. So I analyzed the last 365 days of the Bitcoin price movement and found that buying Bitcoin after a 6% drop from its opening price that day led to a higher price in a 90-day period 100% of the time. 100%, you say? Yes, that sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it is, but it's also kind of really underplaying it too. We have to acknowledge that we're in a bull run right now. Bitcoin has been going up in price for the last year, so buying any time in the last year means you are in profit right now. But we can't leave it there. When Bitcoin moves, everything follows, but with more oomph. Over the last year and a half, Bitcoin has moved 311%. And while that might sound great, if I dangled 3,130% in your face, would I have your attention? Well, that's how much a cryptocurrency called Casper has moved in the same time following Bitcoin. Well, it's simple. We need to use Bitcoin's movements to trigger us to take action somewhere else. Let me show you how this worked for my investment in Casper. On each one of these 3 occasions, Bitcoin had crashed 6%, and a matter of days later, Casper skyrocketed to the tune of 3,130%, 223%, and 294% respectively. These would have been pretty good times to buy in the market, don't you think? Well, the great thing is that in a bull run, this is typical. Market crashes, it creates panic in 99% of people, while the 1% who understand how the market works, and that includes you now, position themselves to profit, and really, it couldn't be easier. All you have to do is pay attention to crypto for all your waking hours, and the sleeping ones too. Does that sound good? No, that sounds terrible, Lewis, and I completely understand. We need a simpler way to do this, and I have one. I told you I wanted to make it simple for you because who really has the time anyway? So we're going to set up trigger alerts for the price of Bitcoin within our constraints, and it will reach you even if you're halfway up Kilimanjaro or 5 hours into that mega nap you've been planning. So first you'll want to go to cryptocurrencyalerting.com and click the % tab. Choose how you want to receive the alert. Bitcoin should already be selected, so that's handled. If it's not, make sure you do that. Next, select goes down and then type in 6% in the next field. Then make sure you have within the last 15 minutes, and you can select any exchange you want, but I just go for Coinbase because it's, But if we don't make our next move properly, the whole system would be ruined. But I'm going to teach you how to avoid this silly mistake with a formula that will change the game for you. And it'll do that by destroying the most frustrating advice new investors are given. It's also going to save you from a common pitfall in impatient investor strategy. And I'm also going to make it painfully easy to understand. Once you've understood this next part of the system, you'll struggle to understand it. Imagine that if in order to decide what clothes you wear on a specific day, you closed your eyes, put your hand out, and just grabbed at random. The chances are you're going to get an item of clothing that's not ideal for the weather outside. In the same way, this is what the majority of people do in crypto when they're buying. They listen to people who tell them to do something called dollar cost averaging, which is buying a specific amount of crypto every day, week or month, regardless of whether the market is up or down. And the people who do this have the best intentions at heart because they've chosen to remove the decision-making process so they can set it and forget it. And trust me, there are massive benefits to automation, but let me ask you something. Do you really want to leave your clothing choices up to fate? On the flip side, there's a group of investors who don't want to prolong the process of making a decision, and they want it all now. And these are very lazy investors. They're a lazy bunch. And I can't lie, I've been here too, as I spent a lot of time in that phase. This person would rather take all of the clothes off the rack right now and put all the clothes on at once. The thing is, if it's winter time, great decision. You're really warm now, you're not going to be cold. But if it's any other season, you're basically screwed. So there must be a way to blend the benefits of both of these methods. Well, with this system, you open your wardrobe knowing that it's snowy and rainy and cold outside, and you simply need to reach in and pick your warmest jacket. I know you're thinking, well, I'm only wearing my jacket now. What about my legs and my little toesies? Well, that's where this system really starts to shine. With this system, you can stand there and pick only the best items of clothing that you need for the weather outside. A jacket, trousers, thick socks, and maybe some thermals. You end up wearing the right clothes for the weather outside and all of your bits are warm. When you're buying crypto, you need to make sure that the system allows for the conditions of the market, but also gives you enough of a purchase to actually make a difference each time. Let's get into that because this is going to change the game for you. These 6 cups are different cryptos you want to buy. The water in the jug next to it is the amount of money that you have. What most people online will tell you is that you should evenly distribute your money across all of the cryptos in order to be safe. And they call it diversification, and I call it spreading your bets. But the reason this isn't a good idea for people trying to make money is because if one of those cryptos goes up 10x and we combine all of the cups water that we have, we get a portfolio value of this much. And that's dictated by the amount of water we now have. But say you had 3 cups, but the same amount of water at the beginning. Once again, one of them goes up 10x, but you end up with a lot more at the end. It's just way better to have fewer focused efforts than lots of little ones. And I call this the 33% rule. Here it is. If I hit your knee right now, the chances are your knee would just involuntarily jerk. This is called a reflex. What this system will do is give you a reflex to a specific thing happening in crypto. Remember how we looked at the market crashes before at the beginning of the video? Well, we're using that 6% crash in the Bitcoin price as the hammer that just whacked your leg, and your reflex reaction is the automatic purchase of crypto. I break it down like this. Look at the amount of money you have available for buying crypto. Let's say it's £3,000. We want to divide this amount into 3. So we now have 3 pots of £1,000. When Bitcoin crashes 6% in a single day, you take £1,000 of that and buy the crypto you're after. As people who have been in crypto for a while will know, more opportunities to buy will come. And when they do, you buy another £1,000 at that crash. And you do that again and again until all of the money is invested. But there is one big problem with this system, and it's not going to resonate with everyone, but I will not let you say,
"Oh Lewis, I don't think this is for me."
So if you want to get the most out of this system, you need to make sure you're listening here. Some of you watching this will start wielding the power of the sun, and you'll come out with a perfect tan. It's just perfect. Some of you will still look like you've never been outside, and some of you will end up looking completely grapefruit pink. I'm looking at you gingers out there. My point is, we're all very different and our appetite for risk is the exact same. So let's look at the 33% rule actually as a scale. 1 being someone who wants to take the highest amount of risk, and 9 being someone who wants to take the lowest amount of risk. If you're 1 on this scale, you're one of those lazy ones I talked about earlier. You want to enter the market all at once. If you're a 9 on the scale, you're probably more aligned to someone who wants to do a dollar cost averaging. This is more cups with less water in. And if you're like me, you're resting at about a 3 on the scale. You're trying to assume some risk, but you're not crazy. The system needs to cater for you as an individual based on your own risk tolerance. So I made a blueprint that will make sure that this system works best for you, and it will bring your confidence levels through the roof. It will make every crypto purchase from this moment feel right to you, and it will turn you into a stone cold investor. And I call it the risk tolerance matrix. And this is an adapted version of the game-changing tool within my exit strategy workshop that has turned the way my students look at making money in crypto completely on its head. It's unlike anything else you've seen online, and you can download the document for free by clicking the link in the description. It's a questionnaire that provides you with a risk tolerance score and the ability to find your personal risk score on a scale of 1 to 9. You'll even be given a risk character name just for fun, and I can't wait to see which name you got in the comments. Say you score a 4 on the scale, well, this means you'll enter the market at 4 different times, rather than the 3 that I would take, being a 3 on the scale. Now, if you're entering 4 times, it's now called the 25% rule, and it's your very own. But if you score an 8 on the scale, that means you'll enter the market at 8 different times, and you can call it the 12.5% rule. It's not so catchy like that, is it? And this system is extremely powerful on its own, but you can supercharge it by following a tried and tested process that will completely remove the stress of finding your next big opportunities in crypto. It'll stop you wasting time listening to 100 different YouTube channels, and it'll 10x your results. And I want to share this powerful system with you for absolutely nothing. It's completely free. All you have to do is download the file by clicking the link in the description.